Great. So, we will begin with the session with the introduction. First of all, welcome all of you that you have come here to attend this session in this long afternoon, long weekend afternoon. I feel everyone are feeling like okay, it's been a long weekend. We have worked very hard on our stuff. We have some personal life, and we are a bit tired. So to attend a lecture on Google AdSense, because Google AdSense is something that every one of us might have researched at one point of the time. I hope everyone here are blogger, and I would like to share a small narration of my personal experience. Like when I began with blogging, when I registered my website, and when I began to work on website, putting on the content, sharing with my friends, bringing on traffic, then every time every friend, every guy, or everyone used to ask that do you monetize your website, or do you monetize your online business? And I also used to think, okay, what are the other sources? Like yes, affiliate marketing of course is one of the greatest source and one of the easiest way, which doesn't have so much of criterias and everything. But there is this another thing, that is Google AdSense, that I came across. And while learning Google AdSense, while practicing on Google AdSense, I came to know that Google Ads is one of that service which can make a person billionaire. I read on to various articles. I read various experience of bloggers, and everyone were sharing like, okay, I can easily earn $1,000 or $10,000 a day via Google AdSense. And I used to always wonder, like, how they are doing it. Like, is there any secret behind it? Because I have the same topic, I have the same niche, I have the same website, I have the same traffic, I have everything that is similar to what he or she is doing. Yet why I am not earning $1,000 per day? And I think that every one of you has gone through this specific phase, where we are looking onto someone else's success, and we are thinking about, I am literally copying someone, I am literally copying India's best blogger, yet I am not able to achieve that success that he has achieved. Tell me, have you experienced this stuff, or is it just me? Just let me know in the comment section. Exactly, I am getting few of the yeses. Okay, few of them have not experienced this thing. Great. Great. It's personal experience, right? But Google AdSense is something, to be very clear, Google is not only providing AdSense, but it provides numerous tools that are just for free. We can use it to our benefit. And, we can literally upskill ourselves. We can up level our business site, or whatever mission we are onto. Like for someone, the result is to bring a lot of traffic on websites. For someone, there is a result that he wants conversion in terms of monetization. For someone, he wants that his or her website's name should be known to everyone. So everyone has one or the other goal while working in this industry. And Google AdSense is something which allows everyone to monetize a website very easily. They can not only monetize a simple website, they can monetize various YouTube channels also, which we will definitely go into while we will be taking this session. So my point to all of you is, when I was learning, I didn't have that level of expertise. I was researching on my own, and hence I was coming on to various outcomes. I was coming on to different conclusions. But today, at this time, we have an expert with us who has not only the experience in this specific field, but he also can guide us because he knows the secrets. Unlike me, he has many more experience of failures as well as success. So we are all together here to learn from Dr. Andhir Mishra and Mr. Vipul Jain on the topic of Google AdSense. So I would like to welcome Dr. Andhir to this session, and as well as I would like my users to note down every points, every tips, every tricks that they are sharing with us. Just take your diary, take your pen with along with you, note down all the points, because practice is what will bring success to you. So I'd like to hand over the part to Dr. Andhir. Sir, the stage is all yours.
Perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Great. So it's a very exciting topic, very simply because it gets checked in regularly, and therefore it should be of huge interest to all of us. And I am also very happy that we will have Vipul, who is not just the master in this particular space, but has also been, you know, he has been able to kind of create an organization and get a very nice exit out of that. So it makes it even more exciting because there is a lot more to learn from him. So please, Siddharth, keep an eye and do let me know once he is online, and we will bring him in somewhere towards the second half of our session, like we usually do with experts. So
Definitely, sir.
let us kick off our session for today.
Yes, sir.
Let me just share the screen here. I hope it is visible.
Yes, sir, it's clearly visible.
So we will start by the same thing that we have been doing for the previous session as well. Let's start by a very simple poll, and this time to see what is your AdSense, as in how much are you basically aware of the power of AdSense or ad-based earnings. So let me go ahead and activate the uh, polls. It should be active now. Siddharth, request you to share the link for the.
Yes, sir, I shared all the links in the comment section, and the poll is also active.
Very nice. I can see some results here. Let's get to the results part. Okay. So I see more and more people are convinced that it's more than 15 million. While, okay, interesting, interesting. So let me reveal the result now. I think we have a decent number of responses here. It is actually 14 million as per uh, the Google AdSense data itself. So uh, it certainly is increasing at a very very high pace. So I won't say that the people who chose to be more than 15 million were really very wrong, and I think 14 billion is closer to 15 billion than it is to 10. Sorry, I should have put billion there. I don't know why I have put million. So all of you are right in that sense. My mistake, right? So it is 14 billion. So we should have kept that in mind, that the number of website is certainly in billions rather than in millions. So I apologize for that, but you got the answer right then. Let's move to the next one here. Okay. So don't be biased because we are going to talk about the blogging earning that this is going to be in that particular manner. But please remember that the CEO typically earns 4 to 5 times more money than the next guy in an organization, right? So it's we are not really talking about a trainee or a intern here, but we are talking about a CEO. Okay, all right. Let's see the response. Certainly, the bloggers are the kings. Are they beat the top blog earners beat the median CEO salary, and we are talking about in the US, which pays even better, right? Let's move to the next one. Who are some of the top ad earners from India? Uh, ah, so some of you remember our last guest here, Super. I see some really good names there. You guys are really well aware and understand the space pretty well. I'm very impressed and happy to see this. You know, one of the thing that they say is that you show your passion by looking deeper into the area, and one of the way to look deeper into the area is to find who are the success models to emulate or beat, whatever be your way of looking at it. Super. So let us kind of see the top six here. So there are two Agarwals who are really at the top, right? Harsh is, and these are all monthly earnings that we are talking about here. You know, this is a very popular person for tech blogging, but he doesn't do it full time. So this is like totally his, you know, extra money that he's getting, and he has a very very strong follower group. Then, of course, Faruqi, one lady there, Shraddha Sharma, Varun Krishnan. So it just says that, you know, using ad earning as a model for living is not a bad proposition to have. So let us then dive deeper and understand how one can leverage the power of Google AdSense. Before I get into actually talking about the Google AdSense part, let me just clarify one particular part that in our digital course that we have put in the GoDaddy Academy, we have a section dedicated to Google AdSense in terms of registration, in terms of hand holding the process of going through that, even linking AdSense to your WordPress blog and few of those aspects. So I would certainly recommend and encourage you to spend some time going there. We are going to move ahead from there in our session today, because today we are looking at primarily how does one monetize the process of how does one monetize Google AdSense for their blogging or a few other options here. So you know, it, the value of Google AdSense is no different from the value of the social media, and it is it offers you all business growth and social benefits, like I have been talking about some of the other aspects in the past. But let's kind of go and understand the Google ecosystem a bit more closer. if you were to compare the idea of oil, petroleum industry or the oil industry, and it's also prudent to do that comparison because you must have heard that the data is the new oil that they say, right? And if data is the new oil, then Google can be found across the chain, right? Means it's almost like what Reliance has been trying to do in the petroleum space, right? From being exploration to transportation to distribution to gathering and processing and all of that. So, it is a very interesting proposition to look at it in this particular way. If you look at the Google Adsense, it sits somewhere in the place where it is monetized from the part that Google has built in terms of its ecosystem. So right from the exploration where we talk about internet searches and page rank, etc., that we talk about, which is actually going to move into rank brain, or rather is moving fast into rank brain now. Then production, which is encourage publishers to improve their content, publish key terms and phrases searched by users on a regular basis to give everybody an idea about what are the topics which is interesting to write about. Then enable the browser. They have the browser which enables a search from the main box itself, and they link browsing very seamlessly to the whole backend of data collection and everything. So if you have actually seen the seen the whole aspect of the, the Google Analytics and all of that, it sits very pretty on that particular area and that particular part of the Google part. So Google AdSense actually sits somewhere between the access and refining, and it is certainly one of the more valuable and one of the or rather the most valuable company in terms of the new age companies. And please remember that though the parent company Alphabet is into a lot of things and we know about a lot of different things, their ad revenue still adds to more than 90% of their revenue so far, right? So it is something that is worth noting, the power that ads have, and how Google is leveraging that, and how we can leverage Google to monetize our own process, right? For doing that, I'm going to take a slightly different approach. I want you to kind of visualize the Google advertising value chain in a slightly different way. When you do any particular search, I'm sure you would have noticed that it actually throws a lot of advertisements or sponsored links just below the search box when you get the results. Research actually says that 80% to 85% of the users don't click those particular part links for as a solution to their search. But I feel that it is not just about the links that it creates, but it is also uh, quite a bit about the feel that it creates. So you will also find that some of the links that is mentioned in the sponsors there are also the links that will come up as some of the top searches. If you remember when we were looking at the SEO, I had shown you some of those aspects of the search engine, right? So this is where we are talking about the search part. This is what the AdSense part is most useful, or is plays the maximum or the central role on, which is in terms of display. And therefore, I use the Google Display Network as a way of talking about this whole chain, rather than talking about AdSense or ad management, ad manager, and so on and so forth. And then of course there is a lot of shopping ads that happens. I don't know if you have ever looked at the tabs that you get when you do a Google search, and one of the tabs there is actually the shopping tab, and you will be amazed at some of the deals that you will be able to find if you look at the search from the shopping tab. So I certainly say that you should do some time on that. Now, from this particular part, you need to also understand that Google actually plays a lot, or rather spends a lot of time understanding all these aspects to basically funnel down to people who are actually going to click and use the content that is being generated by the publishers. It starts at the demographics, then the affinity segments in terms of roles, interests, that they have, some in market, which is the different segments of the people who are buying different stuff, similar audiences, if a person of this particular age, etc., did this, then a person of this would also do that kind of a thing. And then remarketing, which is nothing but using Google Analytics to understand the results and take it to the next level of outcomes, right? So, and the process of this whole value creation or monetization is very simple. You basically make your ad spaces available. The highest paying ads, which is managed by the Adsense, actually appear on your page and you get paid, right? There is a process of registration and all. Like I said before, uh, this is organized or managed, by AdSense, and it is not very difficult to register yourself on the AdSense, especially when you run a good property which has a decent amount of traffic. Then it makes sense. So this is basically the value chain that I wanted you to understand. The next is to basically understand the core ecosystem which one needs to become a part of to be able to generate revenue using AdSense. The first one we have talked a lot about, that is the user ecosystem. 95% of the search is enabled by Google, and 90% of the users use Google in some way or the other. That is almost 4 billion users. All the brands of any significance are there on the Google network. Uh, Google accounts for almost 40% of the online ad spend. So they basically get that kind of a revenue. Then they build a lot of, back propagation, reverse linkages, which basically give the domain authority, and they are able to build a very logical and structured way for people to explore the information that they are looking for on the web. And most important part that I have been talking about for a while is that you can go beyond keywords. So it is not just that you keep bombarding your page with keywords, which is going to give you results. You should be able to do a lot of context-based design. So that is the user ecosystem. The publisher ecosystem, again, we talked about that. There are about 500 million blogs. Imagine 500 million blogs. That's 50 crores, right? 50 crores blogs. There are about 2 million AdSense users, right? There are about 2 million daily posts. There is a reason why you never feel that you will ever be able to read everything that is there to be read on the internet, right? Uh, this is also a very high trust format. Blogging is actually ranked fifth among all the different channels, including your own friends and family, the advertisement given by the company, to government directives and all of that. One research actually ranked blogging as the fifth most effective trust format for us. uh, it obviously has a lot of language support and 5 Indian language. The most recent one has been Marathi. And I always point this out that being Indian, you should certainly try and explore some of these aspects of language, because it automatically creates a unique niche for you, right? So you should not shy away from doing blogs in regional languages, because it certainly allows, or it certainly does a lot of brings a lot of value to you. And of course, the competition is intense. I actually see this as a good value, because you will only be able to, or you will be able to see very quickly if you can survive in this space. Means if your quality of blog is not really up to the mark, then you are better off reskilling and learning those skills rather than being given the value of means, or rather wasting time without any results, right? The ad ecosystem, which is the the whole digital advertising space, which is about 250 billion and is supposed to hit about 350 billion by the next year. These are the click through rates is about 3.17%, which looks low, but it is very impressive. Cost per click average is about 2.69, and you can actually say that about 58% is what 68% of this comes to the publishers, but there are some hidden costs as well. And uh, typically they say that if you spend $1 on Google advertising, you will get a revenue of $2. Now, this is a question worth asking as to that. If you are spending 50% of your earnings just on one expense, which is advertising, is it really justified? But please keep in mind that these are all related to what we call as the marginal cost economics, right? So this is what you will say as my marginal revenue rather than absolute revenue, and therefore any of the money that you have lost from revenue because you did not do digital advertising is actually the money lost, right? And of course, in terms of the payment ecosystem, all the digital payments and all obviously make a lot of sense, and you should be integrating your website with all of some of these aspects. The point to remember is that less than 10% of the 500 million blogs actually generate revenue, and less than 0.6 percent of the bloggers are earning more than 1 million per year, right? Typically, 0.68 is the money that Google pays to its publisher. But there are certain slabs and challenges that you need to keep in mind in terms of infrastructure cost, in terms of a few other aspects. So there is a lot of research which says that this 0.68 is not the real money that you actually get, right? Clear so far? Now, let us try to understand from the advertiser's point of view as to how does the advertiser look at the idea of AdSense. This is important because obviously they are our customers, and you need to understand their mindset to be able to leverage and make money out of the AdSense experience, right? So typically the advertisers start with remarketing, which means that they have spent some time marketing their product already. So they have built a bit of a familiarity, they have built a bit of a connection, loyalty, etc., which is a very good thing for us. So for instance, let us say that I am looking at doing something for Amazon. Then I don't have to start by educating people about Amazon. I don't even have to start educating people about the Flipkart or any of those e-commerce, because they have done a lot of effort in terms of making not just their property popular, but also some of their offers, some of their regular, special events that they host and all of that, right? So mostly they want to look at the idea of digital marketing as a remarketing, right? Uh, then quite a few of them utilize managed placement, which means that the Google decides which format, which place to offer. And therefore, from the publisher point of view, it is important to open up as much of space on your page for the ads that could come there versus restricting it, right? So that is the other part. They are obviously guided by their budget, how much budget that they have. So you need to keep in mind the kind of products, kind of niche, kind of areas that you really want to concentrate on, because the budgets will determine the kind of revenue that you're going to make in that. Then they all create multi-format ads, which means that it would be audio, it would be visual, it would be video, textual, and all sorts of that. And also they try to create more simple and visual ads, right? And uh, they give the display campaigns as much love as research, which means that they equally distribute their ad budget across populating your blog site with the idea, as well as the keyword based Google campaigns. And they set aside some budget for testing, which means that they are happy to experiment and use new properties on an ongoing basis, but they would like to see results. So you should also spend a lot of time in this to do your research and understand if you're giving the value or not. So this is the sort of the understanding from the advertiser's point of view. The central or the most critical part that I want to talk about today is how do you really increase your AdSense revenue, right? These are basically the 6 points that I am going to talk about. And the primary and the foremost is you need to write more. If you are becoming successful, if you see some sort of attraction and all of that, then it makes sense to even outsource. Now, when I say outsource, it doesn't really mean that you outsource to some expensive third party entity. There are a lot of freelance people. So you will be able to kind of create your own funnel of blogs on an ongoing basis. And you can basically then use your time to structure it, give inputs to people who are giving you that this is useful, this is not useful. Be very strict in terms of plagiarism and copy pasting of content that you get. So consider outsourcing. And the content length, when research says that anywhere between 800 to 1000 is the most profitable blog length that is becoming effective. But classically, people used to say that 2000 to 3000 is the size of the words, is the size of a good blog. So I would say that you make a mix between the two. Do not keep the, do not be like I'm only going to do 800 to 1000, but keep a mix. More importantly, use the word limits most justifiably, most effectively, because that is the most premium and most valuable resource that you are expending. And people are known to even just glance through. So you need to make sure that you are not just about quantity of the words, but quality of the words and highlighting and using a lot of things. That is the second point as well. As to more video content, in the last 4 years, the use of the video content or the usage or the consumption of video content has grown by 59%, right? So there are more and more people who are watching video content. There is another interesting fact that though the viewership of the TV has come down, the viewership of YouTube has actually gone up. So it also makes a lot of sense for you to do a bit more of a study of how do you show up on the YouTube results. If you remember from my SEO session, I had told you that YouTube is the second largest search after the Google search itself, right? So keep that in mind. And also, 1200%, 1200% more shares for video links as against text plus links that people share. So it's 120 times, right, that we are talking about people using this in terms of 12 times more that people use the video, or I'll share the video as against links and text, right? Uh, Improve engagement. So use a lot of optimizing techniques. I will give you some of the examples of optimizing techniques as well in the next slide. But please be more engaging. By being more engaging is one, engaging content, being responsive, right? Giving and taking feedback, or paying attention to feedback, and updating your content on a regular basis. This is one of the big challenge that people have, that they feel that once they have posted a particular blog, it is done. You please revise, change the data as it becomes more relevant, and make sure that your blogs are kept fresh. Then diversify your revenue streams, right? Don't relate to just one, which means that you can add branded options, deals, paid promotions, and all of that onto you. And these are all they are not exclusive, which means that you can use more than one of them on an ongoing basis, right? uh, then grow your ad inventory value, which means that you yourself do an A/B testing. You know what A/B testing is, right? I am trying A, B, C, which is better, and therefore use it. Which means that when you are writing your blog, make sure that you do keyword analysis, the long tail keywords, use them into your blogs so that when people are searching and saying, they come to your website more often. And then, of course, use analytics, because blogging is always a play out between the user experience and the ad revenue. And it's only through analytics that you will be able to understand that. This is an example of the analytics that one can use. This is one of the keyword. I had shown you keywords everywhere. There, this is the SEM Rush keywords results, and same SEM Rush dashboard, which gives you a lot of details about what is working, what is not working, and spend time to understand these dashboards and use it. So that is the more or less what one needs to do to make yourself monetize your property better. Now I have a slight bit of a going beyond this particular idea, and I like this particular aspect much better. Is consider transitioning from a website to an app, right? Why? Very simply because app will allow you these, means I've just given 10 each in terms of the these are the, on the right is the revenue models on the app side for monetization, or options to monetize on the app, and these are the justifications of why one should consider moving into an app. So an app, you yourself look at the part of trying to use the let us say Times of India website on your mobile versus the Times of India app. What is a better experience for you, right? So if you are able to convert your own website into an app, which is not a very difficult or an expensive proposition to do, you should consider doing that. And I feel that this is my secret sauce that I want to give you in terms of really be able to monetize your property better, right? So it is like I said, it's not expensive. It allows better personalization, allows a lot of designing aspects, has lots of features. Best thing is you can work offline on that, on the apps as well. And given India and India network, sometimes you lose your followers because of none of your challenge, but because the network was poor, etc. And some of the models which is available for monetize for an app is audience monetization, which means that you are collecting the data about your audience and then using that data to target them better with offerings. You can do a lot of in-app advertising. If you are into any of the gaming and all of that, you see this happening quite often. In-app purchases, right? Uh, Freemium models where you are giving away things which is of value for free. Then you can also get into email and SMS based marketing by integrating apps with some of the other API enabled solutions like MailChimp, etc. You can do a lot of sponsorships and partnerships on the apps. You can have paid only applications, lot of examples there as well. You can also do a subscription for ad-free app. I'm sure you have seen a lot of examples of that as well. You can do white labeling if you have a platform, and Vipul has actually uh, experience of doing something like this. And then also you can move from just being an Adsense or ad publisher to even lead generation and affiliates as well. So this is what I had in my part of the thing. If there is any specific question, Siddharth, you can raise that, or is Vipul in already?
Yes, sir. He is in the session.
Hey, hi Randeep, Vipul this
Hey,
side.
super, super. Welcome, Vipul. Thanks a lot for making it. I truly understand that you are going through a bit of your own transition, so it makes it extra special to have you here and for you to have considered giving us this time.
Hey, thanks Randeep for inviting me onto this particular session, a virtual session in itself. And definitely would love to interact. Although I'm traveling, okay, I'm in between transit in itself, but would love to interact with the people here, and definitely want to share my experience, want to know their experience, their queries, because this is something which I'm like doing it since last close to 17 years now. Okay, so born and brought up in this, so would love to hear the thoughts and the ideas and the challenges which people are doing or facing.
Super, super. So that's the best introduction that I could have given for you. But just to kind of add to the thing, you have been a veteran in this space with more than a year, more than a decade and a half of experience in digital marketing, business development, and partnerships. Currently, you are the CEO and co-founder for DegPeg, and this is a live commerce platform, and platform is one of your speciality, as I know, because you have been through multiple platform. What's Cut Pro is another content platform that you have created. So, platform economy is the way of the future. And I'm so glad that you are here and you can talk a bit about that as well today. And one of the most amazing part of your journey has been the bid stock, which was acquired. Was that about 4 years ago?
Yeah, around in 2017, the acquisition happened. So Bitstock acquired by Uplift, which is a Hitfox group company. In 2017, it happened in Germany. I started this company in Singapore, and it's like
Yeah,
and
so
in fact,
you have done it
yeah.
all. You are the master of the game, and it's a honor to host you here. So uh, let's kind of start by
Yeah.
using a bit of your experience. And they say that the digital marketing space is possibly the most dynamic of the business spaces that one can look at. What has been your 15-year of journey in terms of seeing the changes and how it has evolved over this long period of time?
Yeah, definitely. So I'll just summarize my 16, 17 years of journey in sense of digital marketing. So one major shift which I saw, okay, is sense of the analytics, the amount of information, the amount of data which I'm analyzing today. I'm actually also just to complete what Randy said, okay, as a brief introduction. So I was a part of the first co-founding team in 2005. Then this company got acquired by Infibeam. That was my first venture. I can say, or I was a part of that first venture in itself. Then the second company, I was actually heads the Mom and Me as a brand, which is Mahindra retail entity. I was a part of Baby O acquisition. Then we got merged with First Cry. Then I moved out and I started my own company in Singapore. We branded as Bitstock, which was a white label mobile advertising platform. We were in competition with platforms like InMobi. Um, we got acquired by Uplift, which was purely into, you can say, an ad network based out of Germany. Then I ran this company called Warscat Pro. We raised funds from Axelar Ventures and SOSV, which is a SOSV VC firm is based out of US. They put down their money. And currently I'm building a new live commerce platform called Deckpack. This is primarily the tagline which we call it as like content to commerce, because a lot of OTT platforms are growing, a lot of engagement is growing over the content in itself, and we want to monetize that content in sense of the commerce. So the latest platform
Super,
on which, or
super.
the concept,
Great.
yeah,
So,
on
but
which
then,
we can.
Vipul, in your thought, in the last decade or possibly the last half decade, 5 years, has the digital world become more mature, valuing, the right initiatives better, uh, or it has become a place very saturated where there is no place for new players to play anymore?
So I'm going to say it is getting evolved. Okay, so evolution. I'm going to say I will choose the word called evolution. Okay, and I think there is still like a lot to do in it. A lot to do because there are immense possibilities right from the activation to the acquisition to the optimization part of it. There are immense possibilities on every angle in itself. So and it is growing. It is like there's no stopover soon in itself on this particular era, and a lot of transitions are happening even at this moment in locations like Africa, locations like Middle East, which are like way behind us. If you're going to talk about North American markets, if you're going to talk about a Chinese market, okay, they are way advanced than us. Okay, while you're going to talk about other markets, they are way behind us. So it will going to evolve for sure. There's a huge, we can say, potential at this moment, and it will going to grow in at least for a decade easily, or it could be more than that in itself. There are new ways are coming up, and in fact, the ways in sense we used to talk only about web. I saw you were showing the app part of it. App, which exactly is the thing which is growing big time. I think so. I'll say it's like really went up to the next level in itself. Okay, so all these evolutions which are happening with time, people, as I said, like analytics platform, the amount of data earlier we used to say, earlier we used to see, or the amount of data nowadays we are seeing is immense difference. The kind of a targeting, the kind of a retargeting which we typically does over the campaigns in itself has changed in various ways in itself. We can run multiple formats. Okay, if you are running an advertisement company, an ad tech platform, then you can do multiple ad formats in itself, which by which you can engage with users,
Perfect.
and you can like play around with that. You can play around with respect to locations, you can play around with respect to interest, you can play around with respect to device in itself, you can play around with respect to browsers in itself. So it's a heck
No,
of a
sure,
place in
sure.
itself, very
So let
interesting.
us just kind of extend it to the next point, which is that when you look at AdSense itself and your experience in both advising clients or being a platform that leverages a part of this whole advertising monetization piece, can you tell a bit more of the inside of your experience with AdSense?
No, experience with AdSense is, see, first thing is that now AdSense, I'm going to say, there are AdSense again, like as I said, the evolution as the word I used. Okay, the AdSense which I'm talking about like 5 years back, and the AdSense which I'm talking about right now, has in fact also evolved. Okay, uh, when you're saying AdSense, okay, definitely how you're going to look into AdSense. Okay, what is your key objective which you want to do it. That's one thing which I always ask for, okay, or always look for, okay, that if you're looking out for AdSense in sense of building revenue in itself, or it's something else. Okay, so what exactly you're trying to do it along with that, that's very important. uh, so that's actually like you're going to say the evolution happened in AdSense from last 5 years, as well as the objective is also changed a lot in itself. People are doing AdSense in various ways. for various other reasons as well. Okay, so that's actually depends, like, what exactly is your end goal.
All right. All right. And what has been your experience with data analytics and using some of these tools? How valuable or how useful are these? And for a blogger, how important it is to learn some of these aspects to really monetize their properties.
So I'll say analytics is like a soul of the body. Okay, it is right now. It's something, I typically, like, put an analogy of that. Okay, so if you're going to talk about an offline person, okay, that online offline person, say for example a shopkeeper, okay, he's not collecting any kind of a data, that how many people are visiting his shop, how many people are buying from his shop, okay, how many people are just going off from his shop. Okay, so he doesn't have all that data points in itself. In comparison to digital, okay, being a blogger, okay, you do have, with analytics tool, you can see anything and everything in itself. You know which is doing good for you, you know which is doing bad for you, you know which experiment works for you, you know which experiment doesn't work for you. Okay, like these kind of a tons of such things, okay, which exactly helps you to understand the user behavior, that helps you to develop the kind of experiments which you want to do it on your blog, okay, on your content, with your you can say with your placements. Okay, there are, you can do tons of things based on the data which you are getting it from these analytics tools in itself. So it's a very very key aspect, as I said, body and soul. So soul is going to be the analytics in that sense. If you're looking out for having more traffic, if you're looking out for more monetizations in itself, then definitely analytics is something which you cannot ignore. In fact, on top of it, I'm going to say analytics is going so deep into that, that you are analytics has a different aspects also. So analytics in sense of the traffic you are analyzing, analytics in sense of the monetization you are utilizing, analytics in sense of the heat maps or the user behavior you are analyzing. Analytics in sense of web and mobile are also different. Okay, their mobile analytics tools are different. Their web analytics tools are different. Okay, different in sense of the capability wise I'm talking about. Okay, so definitely analytics is like, is everything in that sense.
Super, super. I think that establishes, and then also the part that using analytics is not really becoming a data scientist. It's not about statistics. It is as intuitive and as simple as using any of the other app. It just needs a bit of a patience and look into it. And I'm sure that you endorse that view.
Yeah, see, analytics. In fact, there is one interesting thing which I always recommend people. Okay, look analytics from your business use cases point of view. Okay, that I'm seeing analytics from different angle, and the other guy is seeing the same data from different angle. Okay, so every guy has, or every person looks into analytics from different angle. For example, I'm seeing analytics from the transition or transactions point of view. Okay, you are seeing analytics from the traffic point of view or acquisition point of view. Okay, so same analytics is going to be used by various people in various other ways in itself.
Super. No, that certainly makes a lot of sense, Vipul. So now coming specifically to your experience of working, with Google as a service provider in terms of AdSense or any of their other offerings. So what has your experience been, and is there any specific pointer that you have in terms of caution, in terms of lookout that one must have to avoid any challenges or falling into any trap, because Google is also known for banning people for no reasons.
Yeah, right. Absolutely, and definitely this is a struggle. Like, that's a struggle. But there are way outs of it. Again, like, there are certain way outs, not completely as a way out in itself. Google is something which you cannot ignore. You have to run by certain rules in itself. And but yes, you cannot ignore them. But again, as I said, like, what is your intent with Google, or what is your intent with any particular tool in itself, or any particular monetization platform which you are looking out for. It's very important. Okay, if your intent is just to increase your CPM, okay, or your intent is to look out for branded campaigns, your intent is look out for targeted campaigns. Okay, what is your intent in itself? When you're looking out for Google AdSense, or you're looking out for any other Google platform in itself. Okay, the second part is that other guys, okay, like if I'm going to talk about the Facebook mafia, in fact, okay, is also coming out quite a big. Okay, because when I built this Bitstock. Okay, we had one of the strongest partnerships were with Facebook. Facebook, in fact, is going more aggressively in comparison to Google, in that sense in itself, and that is the reason. In fact, they are doing the monetization on, like YouTube is doing. Okay, so Facebook is also coming up with something similar. Okay, and the same way, there are other guys as well. Okay, but yes, there is always an uncertainty. There is always an uncertainty about the kind of a campaigns, the kind of a things which they're going to give it to us. So yes, there are options other than Google, but you cannot ignore Google for sure.
Super, super. Uh, Last but not the least, just give us some insights on the process of going from being a consultant to creating your own platform to exit. Uh, if there are people who want to follow your suit and do this, what should be the thing that they should keep in mind?
Okay, so this is like, so there are three, four things which I typically talk to people. Okay, first is that if you guys are planning to do, any of you guys are planning to do or to build your own platform, or to build your own company in itself. Okay, the first thing is that do a strong POC. Okay, when I'm saying a strong POC, in sense is that you should do end-to-end execution. Okay, at a small level, no need to go big. Okay, always try to implement small things and optimize them better, and that to do from end to end. Okay, when I'm saying end to end in itself is like, from a person who is coming on your app or your platform or your web, they should, if you think they should do a transaction. Okay, then you should see that how the transition is happening. Okay, and how the transactions is happening. That's the first thing, and do it at a small level. All you need to is just to replicate the same thing at a multifold in itself. Okay, if you want to build a bigger business in itself, that's a first suggestion. The second suggestion from my side is that you should understand your ecosystem. Okay, that where you sit in the ecosystem. Okay, because suppose if I'm going to talk about a mobile advertising in itself. Okay, mobile advertising has an ecosystem which has SSP, which has DSP, which has a DMP. So these kind of a ecosystem, and these ecosystem consists of multiple players. So you should understand where you exactly fall in that ecosystem, where your idea or your platform will going to sit, and who will going to affect or who will going to support you in this cause in itself. Okay, so you need to understand your ecosystem. That's the second thing. Okay, and the third thing which I am always believe upon is that like your idea, okay, it should solve a problem. Okay, it should not come just like that. Okay, it should not say that it will going to do something which is like just like that. Okay, I'm saying like it should try to solve a problem, okay, which is very natural in nature. Okay, for example, I typically quote this wherever I speak. So when Ola came in the market, Meru was already there. Meru Cabs was already there, and they were the leaders in that market. How Ola captures that entire market, that today Ola is the king, okay, while Meru is not. Okay, so you need to solve some natural problems. Okay, how they execute their product inside that, which Meru till date couldn't able to achieve through their product in itself. Okay, so you need to solve something which is a very natural problem in itself, where people are you can say connecting to your business naturally, rather than you're doing tons of marketing to onboard them. In that case, your cost per acquisition will going to go high and things like that. Okay, so if you have a natural problem statement which you want to address upon, then nothing like it.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. So I think that is a very nice summary of your experiences. I am sure that we will have some of the people very excited about your experience in doing this. So Siddharth, I think we can now open the floor for questions. I just had one more uh, sort of a slide to share, coming from what Vipul was talking about in terms of the alternatives itself. You know, so before we get into that, just a quick look. So it's not just about the AdSense that one can use, but it's also that you can use multiple of them. They don't have any exclusivity arrangement between them. So these are some of the other options, including the Amazon's publisher services, ads, Terra, Pop Ads, Popular Ads, MediaNet. So there are a lot of them that one could actually use. So I certainly say that you keep adding some of them, but at the same time, it is not a shopping place where you will find a better deal. The results will only come if you are putting the efforts, which is really required on an ongoing basis. So, Siddharth, back to you, and please open the floor for questions.
Yes, sir, sure. Thank you. First of all, thank you, sir, for sharing so many valuable insights. And we definitely have a lot of questions from basic to advanced. So, beginning with the basic questions, like there is a question as a beginner: is it important to have a ranking website or a ranking application, or to have a ranking website content to get your Google AdSense application approved?
The quick answer is no. The point is that the ranking is essentially about the amount of traffic that you will be able to get to your website. It has got nothing to do with the approval of your AdSense account. Google uses its algorithm to allocate the best ads to the properties that are registered to them using some of these metrics, including the number of page views that you get. So it is indirectly linked to the earnings that you will make and how AdSense views your particular part, but it's not a compulsory requirement. And Vipul, please be free to jump in and join any of your thoughts on any of the questions that has been posed. This is an open forum, and therefore most welcome to have multiple inputs.
No, I agree with Randir what just now said. Okay, you don't need to be. Okay, in fact, if you are a beginner, okay, there is no way that you will gonna have a ranking. Okay, so there's no caution about it. Okay,
Exactly.
whenever you're
That's
gonna
the main
begin,
thing.
it's like yeah, you always going to start from zero. Okay, you
Yes.
cannot start a website with a under 1 lakh Alexa rank, or 100,000 Alexa rank in itself. Okay, so it's always going to start from zero in itself. Okay, so there's nothing like that.
Okay, sure. Could you, in a very simpler manner, or in your own words, explain the some of the eligibility criteria, that is the must-have criteria to get the AdSense approval, and are the AdSense approval for the application and for the website different, or does it co-depend on each other?
So it is, the key criteria for getting your AdSense account approved is to have a genuine property, which means you should have a particular website registered as a unique domain to yourself. There are some restrictions in terms of some of the serviced blog sites like WordPress, .com, or Tumblr, or some of them, which basically can create some issues in terms of getting those approval. but they are not, totally excluded in that sense. While there are restrictions from some of these, which is in terms of your ability to either monetize or charge subscription or place ads and some of that. So the restrictions is more around the service providers that you are using as against the criteria for your website getting approved, right? And when you get into the registration process of the Google AdSense, it has a very simple box there in terms of registering either a website or a app. So you just use one or the other, or you can use both of them if you have both and get registered using a single account. You can register as many properties as you want into a single account, create multiple accounts. So there is no challenge on that part as well. So it is the process of approval or the process of registering is not very different in terms of website versus an app.
Okay, so just to add into this, what just not Randy said. Okay, so first thing is that these guidelines are given on their sites or whenever you are submitting that. So please read those guidelines in detail. Why? Okay, because these guidelines change with time to time in itself. For example, right now healthcare campaigns are big time. Like during the COVID situation, the healthcare portals, healthcare things are very stringent, under stringent, you can say, phenomena in itself. They're checking things in detail in itself. So make sure that you should go ahead with the read guidelines in detail in itself. You need not to follow any malpractices which people does to increase the traffic in itself. Okay, or to does any kind of a, you can say, blockers, or like typically in app, these the pop-up monetization kind of a thing people does to monetize better in itself. Okay, so do not involve yourself in any kind of a malpractice. Okay, and read guidelines in detail because they change sometimes with time as well. Okay,
True.
so they typically control those things quite often, and they typically do it quite often in nowadays. So you need to keep an eye on that. And right, just to give you all update. Okay, nowadays, in fact, these guys are taking good amount of time to approve an account also nowadays. The process has a little extended, and they are checking other factors, not only your site as well. There are other factors also which they are checking it up. Okay, so it's getting little delayed now in comparison to couple of months back.
True,
Okay.
true. That's true.
Just continuing to this previous question, one of our users have an experience that he says his AdSense was disapproved because it gave the reason like your images, because of images he says, but he used royalty free images for his website, and even used to Photoshop and design his own images. So how can he overcome these reasons, or how can he find the actual reason why is or her AdSense is disapproved?
See, the challenge with any of these AdSense approval or disapproval is that it is a bit of a black box process, and they have some standard responses that they give if they disapprove your application. As a simple good practice from one's own side, uh, what is worthwhile is that whenever using any third party images or content or anything like that, please give the courtesy credit to the source where you are getting it from. So they know that you are not claiming anything to be your own, but you are giving it very clearly the credit that yes, I got this from here. So it's not a question of that you have created original content which is only of value. Curated content is also equally of value if you are able to take your audience or take your viewers, subscribers from point A to point B in the context of the outcome that they are looking for. So it is a very simple or a very easy thing to understand that You will get followers if you are giving them value in terms of what outcomes they are looking for, right? Uh, uh, I don't think that at any point in time using any loyalty-free images or any of quality of images is the criteria for disqualification. So you are better off making some of these changes that I'm talking about in terms of the good practices and applying again. Uh, uh, and most likely you will be approved when you do that.
So just to add in this, okay, definitely Randir absolutely correctly said it's a black box. Okay, you don't know what exactly comes out of it. Okay, so you most of the things are very covered in Google, but yes, just to give that, that is the reason I said you should understand your ecosystem. You should understand, like just now Randir has shown that those that slide where there are other guys also doing a monetization of your inventory. Okay, so you should also look for them. Okay, if everybody or most of the guys are throwing the because other guys at least give you an explanation. Okay, Google most of the cases doesn't give you tons of explanation. Okay, so if you're suppose if you're applying for ad cash, okay, or if you're applying for Facebook, they will going to give you a might be an explanation. That explanation you can implement in your blog, okay, and get it rectified. Okay, that could be one of the solution which you can try out your hands on. Okay, along with that monetization, as I said, you should try out not only Google, but you should try out the other monetization platforms as well. Okay, and because the other reason for that, they can give you a better money than the Google in itself. Okay, so and in fact sometimes they do have quite a good campaigns as well. Okay, so then that case, but just to cut short this thing, you can get an explanation by these guys that why they are also rejecting this, and that same explanation you can utilize to correct it in your blog.
Great. Thank you so much. Just one more question that as we discussed that today regional language blog is also one of the great alternative and we should not ignore that thing. Okay. But what we have read on internet or there are so many information that ads to earn from a quality AdSense or to get the quality AdSense we should have blogs in English language or something. So, would you like to clear the air on this topic? Like, if someone is writing a blog on a regional language, let's say Hindi or Marathi or Bangla or any of the regional language, what is the good alternative to Google AdSense, or can they earn via Google AdSense?
The simple answer is they certainly can. But along with that, I would also tell you that Google is possibly one of the most versatile in terms of the language handling capacity. Other platforms have typically a bias towards English for very simple reason that Google technology and the Google AI is much more evolved than any of the other platforms in terms of using these multiple languages. And as I had mentioned in the session itself, that there are approved list of languages that they allow AdSense to operate on, or they have the capability to, and they keep adding to this capability on an ongoing basis. So using any language which is not really mentioned in there, you are going to make yourself a bit unpopular, or you are not going to really get much of a solution in that space uh, as such. But parallelly, if you can actually create a multilingual website, either as a mirror website or as a side by side kind of a format, and keep those languages parallel, you will actually do better service to your own chances of being picked up for those uh, ad placements, as well as getting a higher number of followers. Because remember, this is still a niche game, and language is certainly a very powerful niche.
Yeah, Radhi, absolutely right. Actually, see, regional to be honest, like regional is not very old in sense. Okay, it started happening. In fact, Twitter is one of the alternatives. I think so. You should guys can check about it. Okay, Twitter is also, as I said, Facebook. Other than when I'm always evaluating, other than Google, Facebook is doing big time into this. Twitter is getting into big time into this. Although like Twitter, not much in fact, but Facebook is going behind this regionalism. Okay, big time. Okay, and that is the reason these guys are, and regional as a overall concept is not very I can say old. In fact, it is like hardly 2 years, 2 to 3 years old in itself as a concept. Okay, lot of, that's the first reason. The second reason is a lot of brands, in fact in India, are looking out for the English speaking content or English speaking inventory in itself till date. Although they are trying their hands on the regional campaigns, but it is not that deep at this moment. And that is the reason a lot of publishers are not getting a lot of regional campaigns in itself. Okay, and that is the reason Garandir has correctly gave you the solution also, that you need to have a site in multilingual in itself. Okay, so that you can have a better monetization, so that at least you should not lose your monetization with being a regional player in nature.
Great, great. So there is one question that one of the blogger has gotten the Google AdSense, but however he is stuck at the daily income of $4 to $5, and it's not increasing above that. Although he's practicing all the things like putting regular content, updating the site regularly, and increasing the traffic by 50 to 100 monthly basis. So what all other practices do you suggest to increase the income from that $5 to at least 10 to 20 or $200?
See, the primary factor that determines the amount of money that you are getting is the relevance of your content for the primary ad spenders in the market. So, what you should possibly do is to see your own keywords and do a bit of a keyword research to understand what kind of revenue is riding on those particular keywords, and are you really in the market for the ones which are popular and ones which are being searched and used by the viewers, or are you looking at a niche, or are you basically following something which is either too competitive or has some very nice established player? For instance, today if you are going to write about making money out of blogging, you have to be substantially better than Harsh to get people to come to your website rather than going to Harsh's website, or for Google to place ads on your website as against Harsh's website. Having said that, like I was mentioning in my earlier part, that you can also diversify, right? So keep experimenting with some of the other ad platforms and see what kind of a response you are getting from there. What kind of revenue are you getting from there? Is it any better from that particular part? And do a very candid and frank competitive benchmarks into what kind of money other people are making in that space, and what is really making sense. Also see if you can get some help from someone to understand if your style of writing the content, if your way of presenting the content, formatting it, use of some other tools is adding to the appeal of your blog site, or is it not. So just do a bit of a A/B testing as well.
Hey, great. So just to add in that, my suggestion to two things, okay, is first is that you need to analyze the kind of a traffic which you're getting. Okay, you should do an analysis. Again, analytics tool can play a critical role in that case, and try with various ad formats. Okay, ad formats typically play a good role in this case. Okay, might be rich media ads. Okay, in pays you better, or video ads plays you better than the static ads in itself. Okay, so try out with certain ad formats if you can. Okay, and check your analytics tool in itself. These are two suggestions from my side if you are looking out for more monetization options.
Yes, certainly. Very powerful ones.
Thank you so much, sir. And these were the questions till now. And I hope there is not more questions. So, is there any more thing that you would like to convey?
No, I think this was a very valuable and a very nice session. Thanks to the very practical inputs from Vipul as well. We are really thankful for his presence here today. And I think the questions were also very pertinent. I am glad that we are making sense to the set of people. Like I also mentioned that I think encourage people to look at the GoDaddy Academy's module on this, which is very exhaustively prepared in some of these aspects as well that we talked about, and therefore it would guide you in a very nice way. And last but not the least, like I keep saying, that like all the other digital marketing revenue making potential, this is a patience game, but it's also a very smart patience game. It's not just wait and watch, but do, measure, analyze, improvise, measure, and evolve. Right? That is possibly the path that is the justified or is the practical path to go. And the current generation is the master of doing this. So I certainly am very excited and very sure that some of you will be able to kind of pull off some very good uh, earning potential out of your properties.
Certainly, true, sir. So, thank you, both of you, sir, to take out your time from your schedule and share your practical knowledge with us. Definitely, these sessions are going to be very useful for all our students, and we definitely see many of the positive changes in our students' blogs, in their websites, in their activities, and certainly everyone has make a note of this, and we will see you all in the next session. uh, till then, have a good day, keep practicing all the things that you have been taught.
Thanks a lot, Vipul.
Thanks a
Take
lot.
care. Have a great
Thanks,
weekend. Stay
Randeep.
safe.
Yep, yep, yep. To you too.